What color are their hands now?
The answer to all three is Pierre.
You know, the funny thing is, all I do is think of questions, and I'm just coming to a blank right
No,
now.
you can't. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna. Why who's short a jam board? Shane, why? Okay.
I was
So,
clicking buttons.
What is a Jamboard?
don't worry.
There's a
about that.
whiteboard.
Come on, we're
Yeah.
running late,
Well,
folks. All right, everybody
color
ready?
on. All right.
Everybody ready? Okay, and we are starting. I'm
You
gonna
got it, Chief.
start recording, and we're gonna do the actual live recording. I know it's on YouTube now, but this is gonna be the other recording. Oh, hold on, I gotta test something real quick. First off, can you hear that?
So what?
You know what? We're gonna cut that part, and I'm just gonna not play music under it and just still read my speech anyway. All right. Feel free to keep your cameras on, or feel free to turn them off, whatever you would like. Just if you're talking, please keep your camera on if you don't mind. Okay, we are going to we're going to start now. Everybody good? Okay. And just real quick before I start, there will be an after party on Spaces afterwards. If you want to come, you can. If you don't, you don't. It's just an optional if anybody wants to come. Okay. And
Actually, I'm so sorry. I just want to check. Yeah. Okay. So you can hear me now. All right.
yes,
Good.
we can hear you. Okay. Okay. Start recording. Everybody ready? And we are recording. Hello and welcome from across various locations on various places and various times. Welcome to the second annual Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. This year we are honoring Shane Keating, the committee to award Miss Piggy an Oscar, Becca Petunia, Dave Hulteen, Anthony Strand, Scott Hanson, with celebrity inductee Lucas Ross and professional inductee John Tartaglia. But that's not all. We have some special guests tonight to present and do all sorts of stuff, including Matthew Soberman, Tori Schmidt, Jamie Carrol, Richard Michael Gomez, and Hall of Famers Joe Hennes, Ryan Rowe, and Danny Horn. So sit back, relax, and welcome yourself to this extremely wonderful event where we honor those fans who have dedicated their lives to bettering this wonderful fandom. Now, please welcome Tori Schmidt. Ah, thank you, Tori. It's so happy for me to be here. Welcome once again to the second annual Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. This Hall of Fame is all about celebrating those who are big names in the Muppet fandom who've done all they can to just really help out this little community of ours. So, I would like to start with introducing our first presenter this evening. He is a good friend of mine and one of the toughest pigs I know. Please put your hands together for Matthew Soberman.
It would be great if you all weren't muted. Okay. If you're a keen-eyed Muppet fan, you might have noticed that Shane's profile photo came from the opening of the Jim Henson exhibition at the Museum of the Moving Image. What you probably don't know is that I took that picture because he was my +1 at the event. Recently, I looked back in the annals of Facebook Messenger to when I invited Shane and saw we discussed with which Muppet luminaries would be there. Shane expressed nervousness about meeting people, and I reminded him that not only was he one of the key people at Muppet Wiki, but Marshall freaking Grover. And that explains my outfit tonight. In tribute to my good friend Shane Keating, I went with Marshall Grover. He didn't think that earned him celebrity status, but I'd argue that tonight is evidence that he's one of the best and brightest of us fans. And not only is he well regarded, he's essential. To prove how much Muppet fans everywhere need Shane Keating, I've written his biography without his lexicon of knowledge. Shane Olive Garden Keating was born on August 29th, 1887 in Booger Hole, West Virginia. The son of famed Union General Palmer Chicken Parm Keating and dynamite tycoon Delta Von Tussle, Shane grew up in a humble home, spending his boyhood days imagining animals, putting on a variety review, and monsters teaching the alphabet, numbers, and getting orders wrong when they wait tables in restaurants. During the tragic Booger Hole blizzard of 1901, Shane, who went against warnings to stay inside in order to find something called the Great Bell of Fraggle Rock, was frozen, perfectly preserved until medical science advanced enough to thaw him out sometime in the mid-2000s. To his shock, his childhood wanderings had been stolen by some bearded freak from Mississippi or Maryland, something with an M, and turned into multiple entertainment franchises. Incensed, Shane joined an internet startup called Muppet Wiki, no small feat considering he didn't know how to operate a computer or the internet at the time. He began filling it with the thoughts he imagined over a century earlier, which had been ripped from him by that strange man who liked to cut up women's coats and defenseless ping pong balls. He figured it would all be deleted, but little did he know that those ramblings had actually been fulfilled by Jim Henson and became the basis of Muppet knowledge that the wiki claims today. Frustrated by his lack of fame, he decided to join the one thing more niche than Muppet Wiki, Tough Pigs. He thought he could slander the good name of the Muppets by writing false news stories. But like a miracle or a sick joke from the universe, everything he writes somehow comes true. He just wishes people would acknowledge him as the true creator of the Muppets, but he'll happily settle for a sandwich in memory of his beloved father. In all seriousness, this fandom wouldn't be as well-researched or as nearly as silly without you, Shane, and it is my supreme honor to induct you into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so it says Mabel. I says sorry, I'm doing a thing right now. Oh my goodness, I heard every word of what you just said. It was wonderful. I'm so bad at these kinds of things, so forgive me if I say something poor or bad, or I prattle on too long or not long enough. I have bullet points here somewhere. There they are. Yeah, so I've been doing this for a long time, I guess. What's that? Sorry. Like I said, I'm not good at this kind of thing. So I've been like more active since 2008. And if anybody watching this was born after 2008, because I know there's a lot of young Muppet Twitter people out there, if you're that young, that makes me feel really, 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 really self-conscious and bad about myself. But that's when I joined YouTube, and that's when I joined Muppet Central. No applause for that, please. And then later that year, Muppet Wiki, and then 2019 was when I joined Tough Pigs, and yeah, everything's I'm so happy that I can contribute to this fandom in any way, shape, or form that I can, whether it's just putting up some stupid song on YouTube or adding some random fact to the wiki or reporting on news for the websites. I Like I said, not good at this. I just don't know what to say. I'm very thankful that people nominated me for this thing. And I'm very thankful for Tori for putting this all together and everybody involved in those websites that I am a part of. Danny, who created Tough Pigs and Muppet Wiki. Scott, who co-created it with him. Both of them, I guess, not blocking me and letting me be an admin and being where I am right now. Obviously, Joe and Ryan for their website and not kicking me off of it as well, and letting me do kind of whatever I want to do when I want to do it sometimes. And thank you to Matthew for that wonderful introduction. I don't know what else to say, but thank you and good night.
And once again,
That was so,
oh no, go.
that was so bad.
No, you're good. You're good. And once again, congratulations to Hall of Famer Shane Keating. Our next presenter is one of the biggest names in Muppet fandom. It's me. I promise, unlike last year, I'm not going to be presenting every other person. We have much more presenters this year, which I'm very happy for. But I will be presenting this one, and I want to start with a little list here. Steve Buscemi, Joan Cusack, Jim Carrey, Richard Gere, J-Lo, Steve Martin, Alf. What do all these people have in common? Well, none of those people surprisingly and shockingly, none of them have been nominated for an Academy Award. And somebody else who can have that honor of never once even being nominated for an Academy Award is Miss Piggy. As shocking as it is, Miss Piggy has never been nominated, not even once. But in 1980, two Muppet fans tried their darndest to get Miss Piggy that Oscar nomination. Now, this was in an age before Muppet Twitter, before the Mindset, before the Wiki, before Tough Pigs and Muppet Zine, before all of these big fandom things. There was two Muppet fans, Bruce Collin and Jim Hall. And there was the committee to award Miss Piggy an Oscar, sometimes referred to as CAMPO. The committee to award Miss Piggy an Oscar was very simply trying to get the Academy of Motion Picture Sciences to give Miss Piggy an Oscar nomination for her groundbreaking role in the original classic 79 Muppet movie. Bruce and Jim created their own committee. They set up a P.O. box to get letters in the mail. They went to talk shows and newspapers pleading their case. They even went out to California to talk to the vice president of the Academy to try to convince them. Sadly, Miss Piggy didn't receive even that nomination in 1980, but Bruce and Jim's legacy still lives on as one of, if not the first major Muppet fan project. And sadly, we weren't able to find Bruce and Jim for this event. There was a search we tried, we gave it the old college effort, but sadly we weren't able to find them. So Bruce and Jim, if you're watching this, we just want to say thanks. Thank you for putting the key in the ignition and getting everything started. And it is that I am honored to welcome Bruce Collin and Jim Hall as part of the committee to award Miss Piggy an Oscar into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Thank you, me, for that wonderful introduction. Our next presenter is a Hall of Famer. He was here last year as both a presenter and an honoree, and here he is this year again as a presenter. So please welcome one of the co-owners of ToughPigs.com, Mr. Joe Hennes.
Thank you so much, Tori. Thank you to all my friends who are clapping on mute right now. Very kind of all of you. Please keep it down. I'm here to induct our good friend Lucas Ross into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Lucas really just deserves a big introduction and a little bit of shtick. I think Lucas is a big fan of shtick. I am as well, and it makes me wish that I knew how to play the banjo so that I could sing a song on the banjo to Lucas to induct him. I don't play the banjo. Lately. So I'm going to sing a little song that I wrote for Lucas. Here it goes. Are you ready? I hope so. I hate playing live. Here we go. Lucas Ross. Lucas Ross. When he was a young man, he never thought he'd meet a bunch of fellow Muppet fans, all of whom tweet Lucas Ross. Lucas Ross. I screwed it up already. Give me a second. There's only 2 chords. Did you know he can show his talents on the banjo? In Oklahoma, still in Oklahoma, Lucas Ross. Lucas Ross spends his days at the American Banjo Museum. Tune into KFOR if you want to see him, Lucas Ross. Lucas Ross wrote banjo songs for Kermit. Matt Vogel has confirmed it. Son of a beekeeper, his car is a 2-seater. Lucas Ross. Lucas Ross hosted the doc for the Great Muppet Mural. I hope this induction song for Lucas goes viral. Lucas Ross. Welcome to the Hall of Fame, Lucas Ross. You won't forget his name. He's the walking Muppet. I sold this song from King Tut. Son of a beekeeper, his car is a 2-seater. Born in Oklahoma, still in Oklahoma, Lucas Ross. Ross. Congratulations, Lucas Ross. And that's the end of me. Goodbye.
Wow. Thank you. So do I talk now? Do I go? Joe, that was awesome. I wanna like a clean recording of that so I can hear your beautiful ukulele even cleaner, but that was so cool. And how did you know that's like my favorite song? I love Candle in the Wind. Thank you. That was really, really, really cool. I am always just in awe of the Muppet fans, just as much as I am of all the people that have worked with the Muppets and any of the Jim Henson productions, because I've watched and read everybody's work for so long, and I've seen their art for so long. And so a year or two ago, when I kind of got invited into the community to do some stuff with you guys, it was really cool and really a big honor. So thanks. And it's so cool how tied in you guys are with all of the actual performers and things like that. And it's cool. And I mean, I just finished watching Muppets Mayhem with my kids. I'd already watched it by myself a couple times. And the end, it's just such a fun service for the fans, and they care so much about it. And it's like, I feel like there's the fingerprints of you guys all over it. And it's really cool. So I just want to say thank you. So I want to say thank you to all these people that I don't forget. So I want to say thank you to Dave Hulteen Jr. And Dave not only is wearing a shirt that I made with a picture of myself on it that I gave him because I'm that desperate for self-promotion, but Dave is one of my favorite artists, and he created an image of me for an album and stuff. And so I thank him. I thank all of the great Tough Pigs mural team that did the Great Muppet mural and had me be the narrator for it. That was awesome. And people are like, they see it on IMDb and they're like, congratulations, that's really cool. And I was like, thanks. I played banjo in the new Martin Scorsese Killers of the Flower Moon movie too. And they're like, oh, that's awesome. So like the Muppets. I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong. So thank you to Kenny, to Ryan, to Jamie, and also to my good friend David Stevens, who is a great artist and banjo player and puppeteer and performer and a good friend. We've experienced Bailiff Flex Banjo Camp together, and you're bonded for life if you do that. 100 banjo players in the woods is a setup for a joke. Justin H. Pyatt, who's a great friend, and he custom drew me my very first Muppet art that I had commissioned. It was Kermit the Frog dressed as Steve Martin with an arrow through his head saying, now I'm myself. I can't even think of the quote. I failed. Anyway, thank you. It's on my desk and I appreciate it. I want to thank Tori. I want to thank you and all the community. It's so cool. Anytime I get a retweet or a like from you guys, I get giddy. Like I've been accepted by the cool kids. And I've only been waiting 40-something years for that. So thank you. I have to thank Heather Henson, who connected with me and took a chance meeting up with me once, and has become a really good friend, and I cherish her, and she is a big fan of everything you guys do too. Lee and Danny and Michael Steinbach from the Muppet Studios for being so cool and letting me come and play with them a little bit. And Matt Vogel for inviting me in a little bit. I will just say this. I know things have been said, and if Matt says it, then Matt can say it, but I don't say it. I just say I have been kind of in the presence of Kermit, and it's pretty cool. When I was like in 6th grade, I remember when Steve Rice, it was a kid who sat in front of me and turned around and saw a Kermit sticker on my folder and said, how long are you going to like Kermit? I mean, he was a good friend. And he was like, I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm just curious. Like, we're about to be in 7th grade. And I was like, well, probably forever. And he's like, really, man? Really? I go, yeah. Like, I want to work for him someday. He's like, you want to work for the Muppets? I was like, well, I want to work for Kermit. And so when I see kids now, I tell them, I was like, don't be ashamed or to be whatever you want to be, or to believe and follow your dream of whatever that is, because you never know. You just never know. You might land right at Kermit's front doorstep. And for me, the banjo led me there. So I want to thank all of them. And I want to thank my family for supporting me and letting me play banjo. And and Kermit himself. Thank you, Kermit. You're my favorite banjo player, my first banjo player. The first time I heard your banjo, I didn't even know what instrument was making that noise, but it stuck with me and affected me. And it's pretty cool to be able to to play and to get to write a song for Kermit. So I thought I would do a song that I don't think anybody has ever heard before, if that's okay. Have you guys heard this before? Just kidding, I won't play that. But I do want to say thank you very, very much. And I'm not going to play a song because Joe Hennes knocked it out of the park. I've talked way too long, but thank you. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I love all you Muppeteers, and here's to another year of fun Muppet stuff across the globe. Thank you.
And once again, congratulations to celebrity inductee Hall of Famer Lucas Ross.
Thank you.
Yay! Okay, oh god, not him. Our next presenter is possibly the silliest little guy in all of Muppet Twitter. He is maybe the most talented person I've ever met. He's just a great guy. He's probably really tired, so please put your felt paws together for Richard Michael Gomez.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. The most talented person you've ever met. That's too kind, but you're right. Just kidding. But it's such a pleasure to be here, if only to mug for the camera, and also to say a couple of words of appreciation for my dear friend and our little who we're honoring at this moment. Becca Petunia. Becca is so genuinely lovely. What she does and what she writes inspires me so much, and she's so honest to herself, and that really inspires me too. She's always been such a great friend to me. I just love Becca. She tolerates me, which I always appreciate. That's, I think, my favorite thing about anybody. If they tolerate me. I once asked Becca when I was on Habawa if when I asked a question, did I have to know the answer to it? And she said yes, but she wasn't mean about it. The answer obviously has to be yes, but I appreciate her for that, and so many other things. So thank you, Becca, just for being you. Oh, it's faces. Oh, look at the Becca stuff. Look at the Becca stuff. Look at them all. Oh, one day I'll have a Becca thing too. Hopefully, sooner or later. Yeah, I've gone on for too long.
Oh, is it my turn to speak? Well, thank you so much, Richard. You really are. You were too kind there, but I'm so glad to have all of you Muppet fans in my life. It really does make a difference. I want to say I've been a Muppet fan all my life. I grew up with the Muppets because my dad was really into them. My first word was Oscar and my second word was Grover. It was very important to me, even then, and it still is. And I really think that the best thing about the Muppet community is how we all work together to make things great. And we all get a chance to share who we are, and obviously that's become a big part of my writing and my work on Tough Pigs, the idea of getting everybody kind of to share who they are and open up about themselves and what the Muppets mean to them. So I think I wish I'd planned a speech, but this is my speech. I think that we're all so much stronger together, and we all need to use the platform we have to spread joy and to spread knowledge, and that's really how I feel. So thank you so much, Tori and everyone, and Richard for inducting me, and it's an honor to be here, and I wish I was being more. Usually I have a better sense of what to say, but no, I'm so honored. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and once again, congratulations to Hall of Famer Becca Petunia. I like art. Fan art's cool. It's just cool. And our next presenter is one of the all-time great Muppet fan artists. So please put your hands together for Jamie Carrol.
Oh, yikes. That's a big thing to live up to. I'm losing my voice a little right now. I have allergies really bad, so bear with me. What can I say about Dave? Dave Hulteen and I met on the message boards back when social media was Delphi Forum's message boards of all sorts, particularly for the Muppets. And we became fast friends. We had lots of lively debates, and from that, we became fast friends. Yes, tough pigs too. Yes, totally tough pigs, and I love that. I love that that graphic. He's one of those rare artists who's also kind-hearted. You get a lot of mercurial people in the art world, and they're very creative, and they're all brilliant, and they're wonderful when you get to know them. But with me, Dave was just sweet right out of the box. He's just an incredibly kind person, and his style, particularly his drawing style, is so unique, and I am so envious of it. When we art directed the mural together last year, that 2 years ago almost, was one of the highlights of my my professional career. Even though it's for Tough Pigs and for a forum, I look at that as probably one of the top 3 highlights of my professional career. To be able to work with all those people, particularly Joe, Kenny, Stuart, everybody, but particularly Dave. I bugged him the most. Whether he appreciated it or not, I miss all you guys. And working on that day to day, even when you weren't working on it, you got a lot of messages. But the film that he did with that, with the mural, was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. It shows how multi-talented Dave really is, and it was very flattering about the people, and particularly me. And I was very taken back by that. He is a brilliant artist, a very kind person. And he's always been known by fans. But now, recently, he has done, of course, the cover of this wonderful book for Seven Friends with Craig Shimon. Yes. Oh, my God. I made him, actually, can show you. Can show you. I made him personalize it to me. I sent it to him, and I made him sign it and draw something, even though he doesn't like to draw if it's not digital these days. And of course, he gave me a thousand things. But my favorite among them, if it's here, is this. If you can see it, which it has, of course, Stan Lee, Walt Disney, and of course, Jim Henson. This is absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to try to see if you can send me a larger one of this, because I really want it big in my apartment. Anyway, so now that he's done that, he's going to be known by everyone too. And I could not be more proud of my friend Dave. I don't know what else to say, so I'm just going to leave it there and bring on Dave.
Thank you. Thank you. Jamie, you were a little further down on my list to thank with like some bigger names, but I'll bring you right at the front because I asked you to induct me, and for everyone who loved the Muppet mural, the making of the Muppet mural, the Great Muppet Mural documentary, the B title for that was A Love Letter to Jamie Carrol. So I wish I could thank you more, but I already made a whole damn movie about it, so just watch it. And that's plenty. That's plenty. That being said, I want to also thank everybody who worked on the Great Muppet mural. I also want to shout out to Richard, not to thank him, but I asked this dude to be in the documentary, and he respectfully declined. And I said that was fine. And now he has been on every video thing in the Muppet world since day one. This dude's face is everywhere. Wouldn't be on my documentary, but he'll show up to this thing, whatever. I also want to thank the main creative team on that, Kenny Durkin, Stuart Reeves, Lucas Ross, Ryan Rowe, and Joe Hennes. That really was a blast. It was just fun to work on that. To keep moving on my thank you list, because I won't take too much time. I also want to thank Bill Beretta. I have a lot of Muppet people, Jim Henson people, and adjacent people that I could also thank, but he was the first person to give me any kind of official Muppet related job. So he'll always be the first. And to cut out all those other people in between, I'll also thank Craig Shemin for being the latest to give me an opportunity to work on something really cool. This was a highlight of my life. Second only to the Muppet mural. That's the truth. That is the truth. Working on Muppet projects is just the most creative, wonderful thing in the world. I also want to thank, moving on up, I want to thank, obviously, I think we all want to thank the man himself, Jim Henson. None of this would be here without him. We've recently recognized how long he's been gone. I cannot believe it. And the fact that this carries on, it's been said a billion times before, but Jim Henson once said, my hope is that I will leave this world a little better place than when I was on it. And holy crap. Yeah, Jim, you did. This place is fantastic because of you. It's got its problems, but it's got the Muppets. So we good, Jim. I'd also like to thank my family, specifically my dad, who always made me, he made me the Muppet fan that I am, including my grandmother, my wife, Nikki, my daughter, Bella. They let me draw all this stuff. Sometimes they regret that. And finally, I want to thank, and I've thanked publicly before, but I want to thank again, Tough Pigs in general, specifically Joe Hennes. 100 years ago, in the mid to late 90s, that's not what I met Joe, but the internet came along. I know, it's crazy. People are like, what do you mean the internet came along? There's a time when there was no online, and then suddenly there was an online, and people were like, okay, what do I look up? And the very first thing I looked up was Muppets. And in the mid to late 90s, there wasn't much. But a few years later, I checked again, and obviously I found all these wonderful Muppet fan sites. Well, okay, I found 2 Muppet fan sites. One of them, I was like, I'll be a part of this one because it's vanilla. And the other one was Tough Pigs, and they were scary. So I just started drawing Muppets. And I think my main reason was I wanted to go on and see, I wonder if there's any other Muppet fans out there. And I was like, damn it. There's a lot more Muppet fans out there. And at first I was envious. I was really bummed out. And I was like, these were special to me. You can't all like this. The fact that they're a multi-billion-dollar international thing, I'm the only one who likes them. So I was greatly humbled and bummed out. And then very quickly learned that they're all wonderful people, which brings me to my next quick thank you is to Tori. This is one of those things that makes Muppet fans show that they're Muppet fans. Yeah, we're celebrating the Muppets, but we're really celebrating each other. And that's really important. Anyway, back to Joe. I can feel him going, you were talking about me, let's move on. So I started saying, well, hey, I draw the Muppets. And people are like, let's see them. So I showed them to people, and the people were like, it's not too shabby. And then it was, I forget the year, but you can do the math. Sesame Street came in 1969, and at the actually I think it was the 40th anniversary. I don't even think it was the 50th. I think it was the 40th anniversary, and there was an event at William Patterson University in New Jersey. If you've never heard of William Patterson, New Jersey, you've heard of Sesame Street, and more people have heard about Sesame Street than William Patterson University. And it was there that I met Ryan and Joe. And Joe knew who I was, and he said, we would love to showcase some of your work on Tough Pigs. And I was like, you guys are dangerous. No. And he was like, well, you should think about it. And I thought about it. And since then, my work has been put in front of other people. And those people were big enough to go, hey, I would like you to work on something regarding Jim Henson. And I definitely have my own talent and experience that I can rely on, but Joe is the one who was really like, let's put this out there. So to Joe, to Jamie, to Tori, to Ryan, to Lucas, to Kenny, everybody. Thank you so much. This is really cool, and I'm super excited. Thank you very much. I am going to draw a whole lot more Muppets, and I hope you dig them too.
And congratulations to Hall of Famer Dave Hulteen. Our next presenter is me. Okay, listen, last year I presented like 5 or 6 people. This year I'm doing 2. Technically 3 because CAMPO is 2 people, but still, it's better than me rambling for hours. So Fraggle Rock. People like Fraggle Rock. People, yeah, have you heard of this thing called Fraggle Rock? It's what Red over here is from. Now imagine you're possibly the world's biggest fan of Fraggle Rock. And now imagine that you, as the world's biggest fan of Fraggle Rock, got to play a significantly large role of bringing Fraggle Rock to a new generation of kids. Imagine that you got to be a main creative on this show, that you got to write for this show, and that you got to play the main character of this show that was originally performed by one of your idols and one of the greatest puppeteers to ever live, Jerry Nelson. Well, this isn't an imaginary tale. This is the real tale of one of the great puppeteers of our generation, Mr. John Tartaglia. John has been working on Hanson and Sesame projects for decades, since he was a teenager, which is absolutely incredible. And of course, he is, like I said, the new Gobo and has performed so many other characters over the years. And sadly, John couldn't be here tonight. But when the Hall of Fame announced that he was getting inducted, he did have a very brief but kind thing to say, and I'm going to read that now. Wow, this means so much to me, truly. Thank you. And I think that's pretty sweet. So, congratulations to professional inductee John Tartaglia. And now I gotta, where does Gobo, you go there. Anyway, our next presenter is a Hall of Famer from last year, and while I could say many things about this person, that he's one of the co-owners of Tough Pigs or a million other things he did, I think tonight it is best to introduce him as the co-host of Moving Right Along, Ryan Rowe.
Thank you. Yes, I am the co-host of Moving Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast with Anthony Strand, who I will be inducting tonight. On that podcast, we talk about Muppet movies 2 minutes at a time. I think I've known Anthony for going on 20 years now. So what I'm going to do here is talk about the entire time that I've known Anthony, 2 minutes at a time. So it started out with an email that I sent about a tape trade that we were doing, and then I made a reference to the Marx Brothers. That was minutes 1 and 2. Anyway, yes, no, Anthony Strand is the perfect person to be inducted into a Muppet Fan Hall of Fame because he is one of the smartest and most insightful and wisest and did I say funniest? One of the funniest Muppet fans out there. He's really good at talking about the pop culture things that he's interested in, of which there are many, including Silver Age DC Comics and silent movies from the 1920s. But we're all very lucky that one of the pop culture things that Anthony is interested in is Muppets, because of that reason, he is a great asset to the Muppet fandom. In fact, I often think that Anthony is one of the best, or maybe the best, media critic of all the regular contributors to Tough Pigs. He's just like really good at writing about stuff. He never will just write about a Muppet thing and say, I like this, or I don't like this, or this works pretty well, or this doesn't really work. He'll give so many reasons and you'll read it. And sometimes like I'll think that I like something or I don't like something and I'll read a review that Anthony wrote and I'll change my mind about it. He can actually do that because he can always back up everything that he says with knowledge and insight and wisdom. He's also really good at zeroing in on little corners of the Muppet world and coming up with brilliant things to say about them. Just look at the article he wrote for Muppet Mindset years ago about the gingerbread men, which was hilarious. The Durwood Clapper article that he wrote for Tough Pigs about an obscure character from the My Muppet Show app that no one's ever heard of. He wrote an article about Cotterpin Doozer. He wrote a Sesame Street review about one episode where Snuffy uses Beggin, Red Flips, and Bert as a mnemonic device. And if you read that article, you'll be convinced, like, oh yeah, this is one of the best Sesame Street episodes of all time. And of course, his brilliant journalistic exploration into the history of Mo Frackle, which is really one of the very best Tough Pigs articles ever. Again, nobody's ever heard of Mo Frackle, but Anthony put in the time and the effort and came up with a really great article about this guy. And yeah, I could not ask for a better co-host on Moving Right Along. He just brings so much enthusiasm and passion for the Muppets to the show. Also, knowledge about things like Charles Dickens and Christmas traditions and other things that are outside of my area of expertise a little bit. So it's just he complements my own nerdery very well with his nerdery. Anthony is he's witty, he's hilarious, he's charismatic as a person and as a Muppet fan. I'm very happy to have him as a friend, and I'm very happy that he is such a presence in the Muppet fandom and part of the Tough Pigs team. And that is why I am honored to be inducting into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame, Anthony Strand.
Well, thank you, Ryan. And like you said, Ryan truly is my first friend in Muppet fandom. And it was easily 20 years ago. I mean, we were doing a tape trade, for heaven's sakes. Like you said, this wasn't 2017 when we started the podcast. But I was talking to my wife, Roz, about this, who really is the first person I should thank. My wife, Roz, also a big Muppet fan, and who, tonight I was like, I got to go be inducted into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. And she's like, yeah, okay, I'll put the kids to bed. Like, she understands, she gets it. But I said to her, like, it's Dave, same, I believe that. But I said to Roz, like, you know what? I was a lonely teenager, and the only people I had to talk to were Muppet fans online. And Roz said, you know who else was a lonely teenager? A guy who made a puppet out of his mother's coat and 2 ping pong balls. And she's right, of course. But so Ryan and I have been friends for 20 plus years. Joe and I have been friends for almost 20 years. Danny has been my dad, my hero, for over 20 years. Scott has been my advisor, my mentor. Thanks to all you guys. Scott once gave me MP3 files of Muppet Family Christmas, the entire audio of the special. And I still listen to it in my car at least 10 times every single December. So thank you, Scott, for that, among so many other things. When I say that Danny is my hero, I'm not kidding. Danny told me to watch Doctor Who in about 2005. I have seen every episode of Doctor Who, including the episodes that no longer exist. I listen to the audio recons. So what Danny tells me to do, I do it. But Danny is on my watch. Becca just asked if Danny is on my watch. No, I wish. Joe, actually, I got to thank Joe for sending me a free watch, because I don't know if people know this. No, but when I say thank you to Danny, my dad, thank you to Joe and Ryan, my brothers, in a very real sense. Like the reason that I'm here is because I said get a free watch. Really, the reason that I'm here is because my 2 buddies took over Tough Pigs in 2007. And when they did that, they said, hey, Anthony's all right. That guy could write something for Tough Pigs, probably. And so they asked me to do it, and I've been happy to do it ever since. It's been 16 years, fellas. Like, that is not a short amount of time. The first thing I ever wrote for Tough Pigs was, like, Ryan talked about all these. Ryan, what did you say? Smart? I would say dumb, unnecessary articles that I've written for Tough Pigs over the years. But my first one was an article called Sesame Street it's called Tough Pigs, November 9th, 1970. And the premise of this article was, I'm reviewing the season 2 premiere of Sesame Street, and I'm mad about all of the changes. And ever since then, Joe and Ryan and Jared, more recently, have very graciously let me write anytime I have an idea that's just like, what if this dumb thing was an article? They always let me do it, you know? And I really appreciate it because it's nice to have an outlet for that stuff. And that brings me to the podcast. Ryan and I talked for 2 years about doing a podcast about Muppet movies before we actually started doing it. And it has been one of the great joys of my life. Not only to get to talk to my friend Ryan regularly out loud with our voices, which we didn't used to do all that often, but to get to talk to other friends. I mean, many of the people in this room right now have been on the podcast, and wonderful to talk to all of you, of course. Some of you who haven't been, maybe someday, you know, like we always love to get new guests on and everything. But what has been great is it's so wonderful to have a chance to talk about Muppet stuff in an enthusiastic way. Like, even if nobody listened to the podcast, I would just like to talk to Ryan about Muppet stuff and our other friends. So, you know, and of course, thank you, Tori, for doing this. This is like, what a dream, what a delight. You know, I told people in real life, oh yeah, I'm being inducted into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame this weekend. And everybody acts like, wow, that's a cool thing, because it is. It is a cool thing that like Muppet fandom is a fandom where we can celebrate each other like this. And so I'm truly honored because, you know, 20 years ago, I was just a lonely teenager who wanted people to talk about Muppets with, and I've had that ever since. So thank you. It truly is my honor.
And it is my honor to once again congratulate Anthony Strand on being inducted into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Well, we got one more presenter here tonight, and this person has done so much for the Muppet fandom over the years that I think tonight I'm going to focus on one thing because it involves with what they're going to be talking about. So please welcome the co-founder of Muppet Wiki, Danny Horn.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here tonight with you all. This is a very special night, partly because I just found out I'm Anthony's dad, which feels like the kind of thing I should have known about earlier. But I'm very grateful for the heads up. But person that I'm here to talk about is my friend Scott Hanson, who is the other co-founder of Muppet Wiki. Muppet Wiki, it's more than 17 years old now. It's amazing. It's got more than 42,000 pages. And in that time, Scott Hanson has made 244,000 edits, it's a hard number to get your head around. So to give you an idea of the scale, like, you know how big Muppet Wiki is. If those edits were spread evenly across all the pages, Scott would have made an average of 6 edits on each of those 42,349 pages. That is what Scott has done. It is astounding. And he doesn't just make content edits, like, he also does coding for the site to make it work the way that we want it to. And he just sets the tone for how we should all work together on the site with curiosity and with gratitude. And the thing that amazes me and inspires me every day about him is Scott's complete dedication to work that he does not put his name on. It's just amazing. He just does this because he wants to share. And there are more than 4,600 episodes of Sesame Street. And when we started the wiki together, we had a dream of collecting complete episode guide information for every single one. 17 years later, we are very close to achieving that goal. And that is happening because Scott believes correctly that this is just a good and worthwhile thing that should exist in the world. And even if nobody knows his name related to it, it's just a thing that he wants out there. And that applies to so many things that he loves and works on: books and artists and soundtracks and Cleopatra and the Statue of Liberty. He loves charting and cross-referencing all the crazy little Muppet references and weird site gags and just every part of the site. Of course, Muppet Wiki isn't a one-person endeavor. I should also mention Andrew and Shane, thank you, Shane, and John and Tony and Maddox and all the other admins and contributors. But Scott is the Kermit. He is the one who keeps it all together. And between the two of us, Like, we knew as soon as we started the wiki that it was going to be a part of our lives that we would measure in decades. And that has come true, and that will continue to come true. I am happy and proud to be his friend forever. Scott, you are a legend, and I love you.
Can you guys hear me okay? Well, thank you, Danny. I didn't expect to cry tonight. That was very sweet. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. This is really special to recognize Muppet fans. I've been in this fandom for well, my whole life. You know, I kind of put it to the side a little bit in my late teens and early 20s, and kind of picked it back up again when my daughter was born. That's kind of when I got into the online aspect of Muppet fandom. I met Danny. We've been friends for well over 20 years now, in our days working on Tough Pigs together. And when we decided to start the wiki, which was on a phone call, by the way, because Twitter didn't exist yet. And 2005, I think that was the same year YouTube started, to give you an idea of how long Muppet Wiki's been around. Muppet Wiki will be old enough to vote this year. So that's crazy to me. And I have to say, it feels a little strange going on after all you incredibly funny people. A lot of you are either artists or you write these really funny articles for Tough Pigs. And I struggle with being funny. I think my sense of humor is a bit more dry, but in a way, I think that makes me maybe a little bit better equipped to work on the wiki, which, you know, follows a Wikipedia stance of, you know, let's focus on everything from a neutral point of view, which you kind of have to, because it's, you know, you have so many different writers and voices collaborating on this one project. And those, you know, I'd really like to thank those people. We've had hundreds of contributors over the years who have made Muppet Wiki what it is. We have an incredible group of admins and other regular editors who are there they believe in what we're doing. You know, we just the sense of community is really great, and it hurts me a little bit when I see, you know, well, in any fandom, really. I mean, there are always people who are kind of on the outside, but I feel like the Muppet fan community comes together really well to work on making a better thing in celebration of Jim Henson's life and career. So I'd just like to thank you know, everybody who contributes to that, especially in the wiki, Tough Pigs. I love that we continue to support each other, and Muppet Twitter has been incredible. So yeah, thank you. Lots of good stuff coming up for Muppet Wiki. The wiki is never done. Never done. I mean, you know, like Danny said, we've got over 42,000 articles, and how did that happen? So really proud of the work that everybody has done. If there are folks out there who, you know, want to contribute, you are welcome. We'd love to have you as editors. If you're not sure how to do that, there are people have reached out to us. I've had people send me, you know, coloring book scans over Twitter. I've had people send us, you know, videos because they're intimidated by, you know, the wiki process or whatever. It's really not that intimidating. You could, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So come on in, join the fun, help us make a better product that fans and professionals can continue to use, and something to continue to be proud of. So thank you very much.
And well, for one final time tonight, congratulations on Hall of Famer Scott Hanson. And with that, I welcome all members of the 2023 class of the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Shane Keating, Becca Petunia, Anthony Strand, Dave Hulteen, Scott Hanson, CAMPO, John Tartaglia, and Lucas Ross. And thank you once again to our wonderful presenters tonight, Jamie Carrol, Joe Hennes, Ryan Rowe, Matthew Soberman, Richard Michael Gomez. Did I forget some? Oh, myself. I think I got Danny Horn, of course. Oh, God. A lot of people. But there are a few other people I need to thank real quick. Thank you to Muppet Twitter for all of their support. Thank you to the first class of the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Some of you are here tonight, some of you aren't. For all of your support and for your legendary status. Thank you to the all-elusive committee for voting on who got in this year and for doing your jobs and doing a good job at it. Thank you for everybody who tried to find CAMPO. Thank you to Hall of Famer J.D. Hansel for helping me write some of the bios. Not some, all of the bios of the Hall of Famers for both this year and last year. Thank you to Sam Allen from the Muppet GIF of the Day for both spreading the word about the Hall of Fame, but also creating the wonderful Muppet Twitter Award website, which of course has a section for the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Does anybody need to thank? Oh, and thank you to New Zealand just for the halibut. Okay. Well, folks, I'm going to end the YouTube live stream now. So, Hall of Famers, stick around for a quick chat right after this, just for like a minute or two. And thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in 2024. And live stream is stopped. And hold on, don't speak yet. I got to stop the recordings. Recording stopped. And hold on.